Two-part. Huh? Did you want to see that?
Yeah, just see what you wrote down.
Okay. I'm getting spell checked, too. I feel like I'm in school. You need a red pen?
Just because the one word you wrote down I told you was wrong.
Oh, okay. Now I'm all consciousicles. So, yeah.
I'm going to make sure my phone's turned off.
Curious
I started
what you...
recording a minute ago.
You did what now?
I started recording a minute ago. Just to... You can edit it down.
Yeah. Okay. But this is usually the best part.
Can be. Oh, yeah.
No, I'm just curious what you're interested in.
Oh, I try to keep it
Men with beards.
I try to keep it open with, I'm not homing in when I'm taking my notes because it's just supposed to jog my memory to what I want to discuss type of thing. But yeah. So, okay, you think we could do an actual intro without screwing it up? I'm scared. I don't know. I don't even know. That's honestly our charm. Mm-hmm. So let's see.
Do you have a prepared intro?
No.
Not yet, no.
No.
So basically...
So then you can't screw it up.
Yeah, that's true.
Valid. I like that.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. And
so here we go then.
Yeah, there's no real outro. It's like, whatever.
No, we have no outro for you.
Okay, you're good. Yeah, I went through all my notes. Bye.
We're done talking now. Okay. So, welcome back. This is episode 6 of Two Lazy Guys. And tonight, we have a guest.
Episode 6 of Two Lazy Guys talking about Westworld.
Westworld. Oh my gosh, you're right. See? Already screwed it up. Whatever. Intro's never going to be right. But tonight, we're joined by a third guest, a surprise guest, Josh Smith.
Some may know.
Some may know. I mean, come on, how many Smiths do you know? Think about it. But no, he enjoys the show as much, if not more, than we do. So figured we'd bring him in. The Angry Viking is no longer with us. May he rest in peace. Mm-hmm. But go ahead, Josh. Say a couple words.
Hey, it's great to be here. Long-time listener, big fan. No.
There we go.
At least 5 episodes.
But yeah, so, and actually we wanted to do a shout out to the U.S. military and thank them for all that they do. We appreciate their efforts all the time.
Big thanks.
Big, huge thanks. So, keep up the fight. But anyways, on to the discussion. Episode 6, Westworld. Dave, why don't you kick it off?
Okay. All right. The first noteworthy thing that struck me was I wrote down that Maeve screws Dax Shepard's older brother as she goads him into killing her.
Yes.
Because, well, one, I mean, it was clearly Dax Shepard's older brother.
Must have been. I didn't look up.
Wild West Dax Shepard.
I did not watch the credits but no, interesting because my first note is suicide by random guest. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean she's figured out how to play her game and being asphyxiated or
just another way.
Whatever she's done.
Yeah, she's gone by being shot, right?
Stabbed,
strangulation now.
Mm-hmm. Right, but they're never intentional. She just realized that there's a time lapse to this. Yeah. That if she plays the game, she has that much less time later. Right. So all she's trying to do is just increase her time that she can discover, manipulate, whatever.
Okay.
Well, and see, and I mean, we must have talked about this in past episodes. I don't recall, to be honest, so I'll just bring it up. She discovered the whole 1, 2, 3 thing, counting backwards, was it?
It did come up.
Right, close your eyes, slowly count backwards, and you'll wake up.
Yeah,
she said that to dream. Clementine.
Which is awesome because when we have Dolores talking to Bernard, it's always... Or no, when she's talking to Ford, she's like, I'm in a dream. Mm-hmm. So that she refers to it as a way to wake up from the dream is pretty cool. Excellent writing, as per freaking usual. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Sometimes I might actually try to go right down the line here, which I never do because we bounce around so much.
Yeah.
Cold storage B82.
I wrote down B82 myself.
Holds a lot of answers.
82. Right. That implies that there's 81 other basement levels.
You'd think B would be basement.
Yeah.
Right.
Like maybe there's only one floor. It just goes 1, then basement down. Like the one might be just one surface level.
Well, everything there comes out of the ground. Mm-hmm. The original train that's going into town comes out of the tunnel, out of the ground.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yep.
Their subway systems under the ground. Everything they have is...
Yeah, all their elevators, those elevators. Yeah, the Mesa bar is the only thing that I've seen structurally.
Their actual apartments and everything they can see out over. But you never really see that in the background.
Mm-mm.
See, I'm still trying to figure out how we're going to tie your theory in. So it's subterranean moon?
No, it's not subterranean. Oh, by the way, I just threw out this takes place in outer space, and that's how they have such.
That's one of his theories.
Minute control.
Wow.
We don't know where it's taking place.
The rattlesnakes are robots. The birds are robots.
The flies could be robots.
Right now, we're like maybe the flies are robots, and if they do, how do they keep real world ones out? You know.
That's the trick.
So the best way would be outer space. It could be in a space station. You never see guests arrive other than by the little tram system. You know, it never shows a guest on the journey like from home, like kiss their wife. I'm going away on a weekend excursion. I'll do nothing. We don't ever see that.
$40,000 a day.
Just the guests arrive on a train and
that
you don't ever see come from anywhere.
The workers live there. They never leave.
Right. Yeah, the workers.
The environment's so freaking vast and huge.
I think they even hit at actually being able to leave on like a vacation or something away from there. Mm-hmm. Like getting leave from work is very difficult for these short periods. They've all been there for years.
Right. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah, and the last one we had also mentioned that where Sylvester, I believe it is, who's the sort of aggressive butcher, the guys that are downstairs in the
Felix
that keep working on Maeve. Guy. Felix is the nice guy who's trying to sort of help Maeve, but is scared, and Sylvester is the aggressive guy who keeps threatening to turn him in.
Mm-hmm.
I think is a character's name, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Sylvester just very shortly mentions, like, whenever Felix does something, he's like, "How did your personality not get weeded out in the embryo or something?" Which implies
natural
eugenics, like maybe natural selection isn't in play anymore in this universe. Everybody's genetically engineered from conception,
possibly.
For the humans?
Yeah.
Maybe.
See, we try to stay away from this kind of stuff, but...
Or maybe it's just insulting them.
Yeah, that may be just a red herring, and we're just chasing this down a rabbit hole that's not even
Which is still awesome, but we've just been trying to figure out where the heck this is, because to have such an environment and have it contained to the level that they do, I don't know. It's curious. Okay.
So B82.
No, but
B82.
But also, whenever Bernard hits the B82, like he goes to get out of the elevator, he hits B82, it goes down, and it says, it says something, and he goes, Bernard Lowe, I'm authorized.
Yeah,
like the computer's like, Bernard Lowe, cool, and then would wait, or like not be sure that he's out, but he felt compelled to say, I'm authorized.
Mm-hmm. Right.
To the elevator.
And how he wouldn't be?
Yeah.
Like, just automatically, why would he go there if he knew he wasn't going to be, but...
Because also in this
is there a point of access if all he goes like, oh no wait, but I am authorized. Yeah. I've just granted it for myself.
Yeah, see, because in this episode when he's talking to Elise at one point, he says, I have been here a long time.
Elsie.
I'm sorry, Elsie. Why do we always get her name wrong?
We don't. Need to just call her E. That's all you.
Okay, my bad. Anyways, but yeah, so apparently there's a lot of answers down there. And this, for context, this was because of the GPS. It was an older GPS that they found in the...
Yeah, he had to go to the basement to log into the old system.
Right.
To access the information.
So I wonder if everything is built on top of a completely different substructure.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've done this once before, trashed it and rebuilt it. Because they always hint at issues between them and Arnold, all these past storylines that pop up, or hosts or anything like that.
Yeah.
And really, you use this all the time, but you can't replace the light bulb or a sump pump or something. The place is a mess that has never been.
Oh dear.
Well, and
I've started something.
We've touched on the fact that the place is. I'm saying too, the place is in the red. It's functioning. It's hemorrhaging money. They make mention multiple times that it's hemorrhaging money, but also that. Yeah, I agree with there. Like, they can't replace a light bulb because that's the thing you see all the time in movies where the light bulb goes off and on, but it's always a fluorescent bulb, and that's not how fluorescent bulbs work. It implies a break in the circuit and then a restoration of the power to the circuit.
But it looks like something happened there.
How does that... Huh?
It looks like something happened there. It's not in disrepair. Something has happened down there that they've just never bothered to repair. Well, it's not that it just, we stopped maintaining.
We did learn that Dolores' father was used in storylines that had nothing to do with Westworld. So you may be onto something.
He was an actor. He was an actor, a Shakespearean actor, because Dolores' father began reciting
that would imply they had a Shakespearean world that they were working with at one point. And that may have been
predates the Wild West, right?
Why can't they have plays then?
I don't know.
Well, the Westworld that we've seen, and I've made repeated mentions of, just seems to be based solely on indulgence of primal instincts and desires. There's nothing highbrow there. You can't go and see an Old West version of a Shakespeare play. That's but there's brothels everywhere and dead people in coffins everywhere. And one of the first things that people get when they walk off is a dude who bumps into them and goes to draw on them. Sort of immediately after stepping off the train is sort of like a jab, like, Are you going to kill somebody immediately?
Mm-hmm. I'm really glad someone finally shot him. If you're watching the background, finally someone shot that guy. It's just so annoying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the guy thought about it, though. He bumped into him, and the guy turned around, like he made like a half step away from the guy, and then you see him kind of go, nah, turn around, bang, beep.
Yeah. So that's where you find out, did you choose the right hat?
Mm-hmm. Right, the black hat and white hat. So, okay. So, yeah, B-82 holds some answers, mostly because it's got retro tech in it. Okay, let's discuss what's discovered down in B-82 then. What'd you get?
Well, I was saying, Ford's got a lot of places where he goes for solace here. B-82 is one of them. Mm-hmm. And there isn't necessarily anything different there
than where Bernard's place is.
Except for... is that Wild Bill?
Wild Bill.
Bill that sits in there.
Yeah, the old...
That he talks to as his therapist or something?
That's not literal cold storage, though. That's where they keep all the nudies.
Mm-hmm. Except for Wild Bill. That's fully clothed. Which goes against his entire...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he keeps him in costume in that Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
Right.
The big corpse-sized Ziploc bag.
As if to hide him, maybe? But he's got all these other facilities where he can still work on them. He can still... talk.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've talked at length about every time you see Bernard and Dolores, they're clearly underground somewhere in a bunker type of thing, but it's completely different from any other place. So Bernard has his own digs where he does that. Whereas when you see Ford interacting with Dolores, they're in the main area where you got all the glass rooms and you can see everything. But okay, so something that we do learn in B-82, or I should say Bernard learns... 5 anomalies in Sector 17. Mm-hmm. Right? Yep, that pops up.
5 anomalies.
Well, yeah. Clearly there were more anomalies than that, but these 5, what was it that made these 5 so important? See, we can just jump around on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Ford's forest family. I think I just wrote Ford's forest family.
The cabin in the woods?
Yeah, the cabin in the woods.
4 plus the dog, or 4 plus the...
4 plus the dog.
I think they're counting the dog, yeah.
Because he does make mention, I can fix the dog, but why did you do that? So to me, the dog is the 5th.
Right. And plus the Greyhound story that he shares with somebody earlier on is referring directly to that dog.
What really bothers me about the dog, though, is the boy calls the dog it. And if that's his younger self, he has to have some kind of affection and love to this dog that he brings the balls to come play with the dog. It's not a fixture because it's his memories, his past. It's got to be there. We change it to make it as close as we can.
Right.
He has a love for this dog.
Well,
but that boy who is he calls it it.
Yeah. Well, is that because though that Ford created the younger version, I guess, of himself,
right?
After he had already gotten to the point where he refers to the host as them and it and not as humans. Possibly. And that aspect is just, a result. That's why the kid said that, is it, because that's Ford's own reflection of his mentality of the host.
Well, and Ford wasn't the one that created them. He said they were a gift from Arnold.
They're a gift
but
from
I'm sure
Arnold.
he had something to do with the programming.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, you're...
But it's not Ford that you're referring to as it. It's the host that is supposed to have the memories of child, or the actions of Ford as a child.
Right.
So the child should not call it it. The child should call it he, dog, whatever.
Yeah.
The dog's name was. Ford should be the one calling it it.
Indeed.
Sort of reversed.
Yeah. No, that's a good catch.
I wonder if the writers... I mean, at this point, they had to have known what they were putting in, I would think. Like, maybe it's...
Or is it the point of taking out emotion?
Yeah, it's either...
It's the beginning of the God complex.
Yeah, I mean...
that he's been spiraling down.
Man, he is so... I'm so glad they picked Anthony Hopkins for that role, though, because, man, it gets dark. Yeah, he gets really dark, I think.
No, and it's great. I'm enjoying what he's done with that character. He's given it a lot of dimension. What's your next thing? Because, mine just keep going.
I wrote down that the maze is in the tabletop. Mm-hmm. It's beginning to pop up, like, physically in the world. Like, initially, there was talk of the maze. Then the maze shows up in a scalp that the Man in Black has.
Mm-hmm. But he knew who to go to get that.
Right, but the Man in Black knew who to go to get it. Well, then now it's beginning to physically show up all over the place, like it's in the tabletop. And it's in Ford's book. Whenever Ford goes down into his office and he's flipping through the pages of his book, he has a diagram in there as well.
Is that his book or is that Arnold's book? Because I
don't know.
I was thinking about that because it was that old office that no one knows is there.
There's it's Ford's office.
Right, but the book that he takes out of there
was
originally designed with Arnold. There's a picture of Dolores in there too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a picture of Dolores and another lady.
Right.
That doesn't look like Dolores. I kind of wonder who that lady is.
Oh, yeah, and see, that sketch of Dolores, I must have wrote that down, but it's like, who is she based on? It makes you question.
Well, we know there's 80-something old hosts out there, I believe the number was given.
Yeah.
So,
but it's just
obviously
like,
we haven't seen everyone that's...
No, I mean, they rolled into that... What was the town? I was calling it Purgatory or whatever because it starts with the P, but it's the one that's out there that I'm like, why is this city here? They roll in and it's like a scene from Eyes Wide Shut where all this weird, everybody's naked and stuff. And
gold paint.
Yeah, gold paint on them. I'm like, what is the purpose of that place? So, yeah, I mean, and there was no mention made of it like earlier on in the season. It's just something they make mention of and then it's sprung on you. And, I sort of likened it to... like HBO realized that they had not been making their topless women quota, and they're like, "We got to catch up. We got to catch up with this scene." And they're like, "Get them all in. Get them all in."
Yes. But that maze only shows up deep inside of the park.
Yeah.
So we say show up more and more. Well, as we follow these lead characters that have started from the train and they go deeper and deeper into it, or Ford that sees a place deep into it. It pops up more.
Well, yeah. And
so it should. I don't think it's showing up more than normal. Like it's being created more.
Showing up where it should.
It's showing up where it should. It's not that someone's out there going, "Let me put another one in here."
Well, yeah. It's not that it's being added to the world, sort of retcon, but that it's physically showing up more and more. Yeah, as it goes along and we get deeper in the world, it's showing up more in a physical sense.
And see, this goes back to our video gameology, our approach to it. You're not going to come across the deeper stuff in the tutorial town because you're just learning the ins and outs of how to navigate the world,
right?
Of how to level up, so to speak. And once you get outside there, then you're getting into the meat of the story. And I believe we've already discussed this, for the hosts, clearly it's the maze because it's not meant for guests.
No.
We've established that pretty firmly.
It's not for you.
Right.
Not for you. Even the little girl.
He continues on and...
Yeah, he's kind of hung up on it, true.
Well, it's the one story he hasn't been through.
Yeah.
And this guy has been there the entire time?
Yeah.
Since the early days, I guess, yeah.
Ford makes no... He's like, well, it's, he agrees it's basically not for the Man in Black, but he's like, who am I to stand in the way of... The journey of self-discovery.
Yes.
So he doesn't stop him. He makes no attempt to dissuade him.
He's basically like, if you want
but he's like, I guess...
Knock yourself out,
like he lives in this place.
He spends a lot of time, even though he...
reality there and just lives there.
Yeah, even though he yelled at the one dude saying, "I'm on vacation."
Right.
It's like, that's a long vacation, dude. Okay, interesting thing I noted about the old school system. It responds to vocal commands. Be it textual. You know, when he asks, there's 5 anomalies there, and then all of a sudden it just pops up with a yes. I was like,
all this technology and you can't answer him?
Yeah, I'm like, well, you didn't program a voice, but it responds to vocal commands. That's interesting.
Well, if it did, then they'd have to get Jarvis.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Oh, here was something of interesting note. So it's the town you're talking about. That Ford's in, you see the carving on the table. They make a point of bringing it to your attention because Ford looks at it. Nobody's moved, and he tells the worker bees, we'll stop the canyon before this town, right?
Yeah.
I found it interesting that when he says continue, and it seems like he does when he gives his commands, there's hand gestures involved.
Yeah, there's always some sort of
There's always some kind of movement. When he does that, it's interesting because they pull the camera back, and it's a ripple effect. It isn't like simultaneous, everybody starts moving again. It's a ripple effect. So once again, they added they added to the God complex because it all emanates from him. You know, that they get to actually move about this world based on his whim.
What did you think of the Maeve and Felix conversation? Where she wakes up down there and they begin talking about humanity and what it means, and he's like, no, you're different than me. You were made.
Oh,
I was born.
Yeah, because she outright questions him. How do you know?
Right, because no one can really grasp what reality is here, because suddenly people that you didn't think were hosts turn out to hosts, and hosts turns out to be real people. It keeps going back and forth. But she's beginning to question that reality. I got the very allegory of the cave feeling throughout this one.
Yeah.
You know, like she sees this one little bit and she gets closer and closer. She finds out more. But then that last elevator, much like the allegory of the cave, doesn't step out of the cave, is afraid to... Like, well, what is reality?
You better refresh me really quick.
She wants to question it, but she's afraid to find the answer.
Yeah.
You know, we're turning into a lot of a belief here. We're taking philosophy into a belief, but...
Yeah.
She doesn't want to disrupt, I don't want to say the status quo, but her understanding. She's learned so much that she's now becoming comfortable and doesn't want to... Afraid of what she'll see.
And when you're talking the cave, you're talking about from Homer?
Plato.
Yes, Plato.
Guys change the cave. All you can see is the shadows reflecting from a fire behind him. Then he learns that they're shadows and he sees what they really are. Yeah.
Cool. Just in case nobody else out there understands the reference.
Completely understand. I apologize. Good call.
Yeah, no. So, yeah, because that was one of my notes. What makes us human? And we could spend an entire other show on that. But that's what's brought into question by her asking Felix to explain, you know, because he's like handing her the thing, my thoughts are my own. And he's like, no, they're programmed. This thing can tell you what you're about to say.
What defines life?
Right. Yeah. And see, that's what's brought in. And so I have here the self-discovery of learning she is programmed is hard to grasp. I think I'd have the same problem with that. Because, I don't know, a lot of people have told me I'm a unique person. I don't believe it. I think I'm pretty boring.
I agree. Yeah.
Poor Maeve.
But could you imagine going through life thinking you're unique, or having her ability to read people the way she does, and dealing with people the way she does from day to day, and then it's like, nah, this is all programmed. How could you not struggle with that?
Well, she does.
Yeah.
She sort of goes into this shutdown.
Yeah, she blue screen to death to like...
Yeah. Which was freaking awesome because Felix reaction to it, he's like, oh, no. It's like, what did I write? Oh, I broke my toy when she airs out. He's like, oh, crap.
Well, he can't tell anybody he broke it because I don't wonder what he's doing.
Oh, exactly. I mean,
this goes definitely done for.
This goes way past the bird thing. But yeah, I love that part. That was pretty classic. Okay, yeah, and see, that's a lot of this. This was definitely, I mean, you know how we've said past episodes seem to focus on one character. This by far was her moment because
it's all about her awareness.
Yeah, you were just you were waiting, and it's like when she keys in on the word, you said upstairs. And I think it's right after she wakes up from
right after she reboots, she resumes.
Yeah, and she looks at him and she's like, "You said upstairs. Take me up there."
She's going beyond this little flashbacks, little understands memory to now she can pick up right where she's left off. So she's evolved even farther with her memory or less blocking, unless Felix has just stopped hitting erase.
Yeah, he may.
That might be.
Yeah, she's retaining a lot of stuff, but it's just. And see, they talk about the 20-point attribute
20-point system,
system.
For their attributes.
Back to your game.
Holy crap! Yeah, but it's like if she was already at 11's usually pretty high for people that are in charge. I think they say
14 is the highest they will.
Was it 14?
Yeah, 14 was the max.
Well, I think
she was basically a max.
Yeah, but
she was
just
a max
like,
for a host.
And she's keying in on this stuff, and it's like, okay, take me upstairs. Holy crap, man! Taking that journey with her. I mean, we're seeing. You know how we discuss narrative through whatever character's eyes. Seeing this through her eyes was just awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed that because I mean, like everything from barroom fights to animals.
Right. Yeah, but were we going through like a 7 levels of awareness or consciousness? Going through that?
Yeah, that's.
I mean, I started writing down like trying to track these levels of. She's doing this all at once.
Oh yeah, no.
But then again, hit that middle point, which, you know, few can really get past. Same as maybe with that cave is, got to stop here.
Right.
Yeah. And what was that the point where she had gone upstairs and saw the advertisement and having a level 20 intelligence was like, oh, there's my child that I was forced to forget.
Right. She saw herself in something that.
Yeah, and she
barely had a flashback of.
She about had another moment there because what I wrote down on that part was a lot to process when upstairs, and she questions, how do you have my dreams in a moving picture? You know, with what understanding she has, she's like, it was a moving picture. How did you get those? And he's like, well, those aren't.
It's an advertisement.
Those aren't dreams. Yeah, it's like
a commercial.
That's to get people to come here and spend money. But yeah, no,
we ran it during Super Bowl 9000.
But she knows everything keeps repeating itself, so it shouldn't have been that big of a discovery for her.
It might not have been if she was still at her intelligence of a 14, maybe.
Right.
But at 20, maybe she...
But she should have started to realize the... She knew the repetitives, but...
Yeah, she knows she's on a loop.
Right. People see it. People know it. It's...
Shoot, yeah. And actually, just touching on that 20-point scale for attributes again, did she fully bumped up perception, right? Wasn't it?
I thought it was intelligence.
It's whatever they called intelligence.
Yeah.
Brute something. I forget what it was. It was essentially intelligence.
Yeah, it sounded like they were explaining perception to be able to see
rocket
the world around
level.
you.
Well, I think they described it.
Yeah, for me, like I don't know. I mean, it's just me. Like I totally identify with Felix in that.
Oh, it'd be fascinating.
Like, you know, I'm like if something I'd created had been under a limitation and was suddenly like I'm ready to unlock me, overclock me,
right?
Yeah.
And you'd be like, why wouldn't you? I mean, because to me, that's like artificial biological life is potentially the only way you can get the philosophical idea of humanity out into interstellar space, because anything organic is going to die. Yeah. So these hosts are like the greatest thing ever to come along in the, like from a physical sense.
But isn't someone already doing that? Because yes, she had some of these other developed higher than normal attributes. But when Sylvester got in there, he was like, oh, someone else has deleted the log of Logan.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe they are
Arnold.
doing it.
I think it's Arnold. I mean, it's Arnold.
Well, yeah, it could be.
They don't say, but
here comes your ghost.
And I
it could be Ford. It could mean.
Yeah.
But maybe they're already trying to, in small increments, step up to that. To how far can we really go?
Yeah, because
when does it get dangerous?
His words were somebody with a whole heck of a lot more.
Was it Turing or whatever?
No.
Like how far you can take this?
Yeah, and that may be, and now that I'm remembering it, maybe, unless I'm remembering it wrong, that may be because, not because, that may be the cause of, whenever you said young Ford referred to the dog as it.
Right.
Elsie was in the building and she said, somebody has modified 5 old hosts along with a score of others. One of them was Maeve, but she said that somebody else had modified 5 old hosts, and they'd mentioned 5 old hosts out in the woods. Or in that Sector 17. Bernard went out and found that family, so I think maybe Arnold, Ghost in the Machine right now, is tinkering with Ford's family because he can get to them through their antennas as well as some of the other ones.
So if Bernard went out to find 5, found 4 in a house, but was saved by a 5th person, we have not seen animals raised to the level of a host before. Outside of riding a horse, anything else, they're not necessarily controlled.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Now, Ford was out there. That would be 5.
Yeah, it wouldn't be fun. Maybe Ford's. See, but that goes back to my thing too, where I've made a note where Elsie, isn't Elsie gets drug off?
What, toward the end?
The arm comes out of the shadow.
Yeah, the arm comes out of the shadow and drags her off, and I'm like, oh man, if she's
not dead,
if she's toast,
let's just
like if she's dead. I'm saying in the future, you find out she's dead.
She's alive.
But then she shows back up and she's a host.
Yeah.
I'm saying 100% every single entity in that park is a host.
Every employee.
And the entire thing is an experiment.
And that's why no one cares about leaving or anything else?
Yeah, and that's why nobody cares about leaving, because the guests all just arrive on trains. You don't ever see them coming from home. Nobody goes home so far in this show. Nobody does. Nobody goes home. Nobody comes from home.
See, it doesn't matter because she didn't die. There's no corpus.
I know, but
there's
still,
no proof.
She can't die if she's a host.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, she can't die if she's a host. Ford can fix her. But
I don't want her to be a host, but okay.
If she's a host, then yeah, Ford may very well be that 5th.
Well, and sort of kind of builds on that
anomaly.
Maybe everything has been rebuilt on top of the old. Whatever happened, destroyed them.
Oh man, that totally makes sense.
Have rebuilt the hosts themselves.
Yeah,
but yeah,
and there's like this self-perpetuating on the moon thing.
Right, and Ford, because remember Ford had to go excavate the old town because it had been buried.
Right, it had been buried. And there seems to be a theme that's rising here where we always have to go through that stinking graveyard.
Yeah, they keep drifting through that graveyard.
Yeah, all the little crosses and stuff.
There's a big specter of death in the show.
Always. Yeah.
I'd made that, the statement on the last one where Dolores had been, I thought it was fascinating that they took in Dolores and dropped her, an entity who's essentially immortal right in the middle of a parade about death. She's just surrounded by death, but she herself cannot technically die.
Okay.
I was like, well, that's kind of interesting.
Now here's something.
No, she doesn't know that, but
here's something we seem to be glossing over, so I'm going to bring it up. I don't know why it's buried this far down in the notes. I guess because we learned it late. Robert is the little wandering boy. Ford. Right? We've already...
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that that's black and white.
We didn't realize it the first time, a couple episodes ago, like, oh, maybe it is. But this time, yes, definitely. He says... This is me when I was there. This is my brother. Yeah,
this is my father. I kind of made it so he kept some of his
older traits.
Yeah,
like that he was an angry drunk. Okay,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, he added in his raging alcoholism.
This is how I remembered my father, so this is how he is. Dang. Okay.
Yeah,
that's how he perceives them. So that's how
we have daddy issues in the house. Okay. But yeah, no, that was, and no, you know what? When I saw that. It wasn't like a huge jaw-dropping moment because for some reason, him just randomly running into this kid, I mean, the first time he does, it's like, where are your parents? What the heck are you doing? Wandering around this place with snakes and, people getting shot every which way.
You think it's just another storyline or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Well, he seemed like such a not like an anachronism, but like, you know, just a thing out of place. Like, here's a boy wandering through the desert all alone.
Yeah.
And Ford's like, oh, run along, you know, and you're going.
I mean,
it's a host. It's not.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a host. You know, it's not going to get hurt. But why is this kid?
You know?
But to learn that it was Ford just didn't. I don't know if they intended it to have more oomph. It didn't to me, because it was like, well, yeah, that makes sense. You know.
I'm starting to expect these things from him, though. He has his own world.
That must be what
in his
it is.
own park inside the park.
Yeah.
You just sort of, he's doing his own thing. He's building.
Oh yeah.
And I find it interesting that as a creator of this world, God, if you will, he's still living in the past, because he goes to reminisce with his family.
Right.
Okay. All right, what else you got, Dave? I'm crossing out stuff like crazy.
And that may support I wrote down that Bernard goes out and finds Ford's forest
cabin
family.
in the woods. Yes.
Yeah,
right.
and that. And then whenever the dad gets angry and begins to physically assault him.
Oh, his commands weren't working on him.
Oh,
I noticed that.
Right, he said, stop motor skills.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, he
was used before.
Yeah, and they are not working on these old bots.
He tries to get his little tablet out there.
But then Ford mysteriously appears.
The fifth anomaly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The fifth anomaly, who can. He was inside the China cabinet, maybe underneath. He might have been underneath the China cabinet.
Yeah, because I swear the camera moved around that place pretty good. I did not remember seeing him hiding in the corner there.
No, and the side of the wall, or the side of the room that he was on, was like a wall with a China cabinet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
like,
and suddenly Ford's there. He's got like a trap door.
Are there multiple Fords?
Yeah, there could be multiple Fords. Snap. No, don't start going down the multiple ones, because
he created a host Ford of himself to actually do the work, and he's just out there playing in the park.
Crap! Now we're getting into Tony Stark stuff, man. Because what's that? The life
model decoys.
Yeah,
life model decoys.
Freaking A. Great. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's not good in there, right?
Let's see.
Yeah, I don't want to go down the multiplicity route.
Yeah, the multiplicity route. Indeed. Did you see that movie?
You see Multiplicity?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a great movie. I haven't seen that in years. Dave. I've still got at least 4 things, but this is a big one that we could probably discuss for a while. The Maze.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm going to say for now. But
all right, well then, there we go.
It's not a maze.
Oh, the maze?
It's not a maze.
It's not a maze.
Okay.
Oh, like you mean in the physical sense?
In the physical
sense. I'm going to go wander around it and wind up frozen, sitting...
Yeah, the Man in Black thinks it's a physical thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like somehow that is a map that he's going to like go through this labyrinth of tunnels or something. No, it's not a maze. It's...
If they did, they would have to have like at least a 3-second clip where Jack Nicholson is running around screaming, "Daddy!" Daddy! And you're like, oh, that's good.
Yeah. Okay, well, here's the thing that I noticed is... So, Teddy was not a font of knowledge by any stretch of the imagination until he was given his backstory.
Yes.
To deal with...
Teddy knew...
what's the name? Wyatt. Right?
Wyatt.
And after he's uploaded with that, suddenly, he's like the freaking maze expert.
Right? Is that a new backstory that's coming into Ford's new storyline? Or is this all this reminiscing fragments that are coming back every time they reboot? Because he used to be that character and that actually happened.
Right.
It's all been changed.
Mm-hmm.
See, for me, it plays to my theory of time jumping.
Oh, yeah.
It really does, because I think it's history that's being brought to light. I think it's something... I mean, they've probably told so many stories at this point, recycling or making use of old stories, not uncommon.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't be. I mean, even as a writer, you find yourself doing that. Because, and I think at one point it said, you put yourself in the art.
So, and I completely agree with you, because early in the show, you had whatever that guy was and his brother-in-law. He said, hey, this is the new thing that our company just started, invested, it just went live. But then you've got old storylines, dead storylines, all these places you've seen where it's been changed.
Right.
And this guy that is on this long year's vacation, if he's done every story there, especially if they keep giving new ones.
So, see, now I feel completely comfortable by episode 6 dropping the bomb. Because it's not a bomb.
No, and it goes back to the last one where we had a discussion about Lawrence's character.
Right.
Where you find out that he's this,
He's a bandito.
He's an outlaw, bandito of some type, and then he's like, oh no, you can call me Lawrence. And you're like, okay, clearly, and that occurs in such a short time frame after he's basically bled out. There's not a reboot, so he's bled out by the Man in Black, and then you see him alive as a bandito. And so clearly, to me, this portion is a flashback, which then now you throw in the whole timeline. You're just
I said it last episode. To me, that was when the man in the white hat first meets Lawrence for the first time. And why that was so significant is it's the Man in Black meeting Lawrence for the first time. It just seemed like a connect the dots type of thing for me. So would it surprise me to find out that the Man in Black is William? No. Would it be awesome still to find out that it's him? Yes, because now we need to see how he went from being a white hat to an all black. Not just hat, but the entire outfit.
Someone who didn't like it now is obsessed with it.
Right.
What was that life-changing event there that...
Yeah, what was it?
That would be a heck of a story.
Is it really just Dolores?
Yeah, if that's not capitalized...
Do the crazy things for the girl?
Yeah, well, and it might not be because at this point he seems to... From his early interactions with her, he seems to have only just slightly more regard for her than he does any other host in the park.
Right.
I mean, he's dragging her off and doing stuff to her that we don't know what it is, but...
Both characters are still kind of obsessed with her.
Yeah.
True.
Well, so is Teddy, but that's...
Oh, and also that whenever...
He's programmed to.
Yeah.
Dolores is there, and Lawrence is the bandito. Dolores begins making out with William like Teddy doesn't even exist.
Yeah, see, again, that
but at that point I was like, it's history. She hasn't been put into the loop to feel the way she does about Teddy.
Yeah.
But if it's not written in the story, that one host would get upset.
Yeah, I mean...
Because that's not part of that...
It's definitely keeping us guessing.
Story piece there, so he doesn't know what to do.
Right.
Maybe.
Right.
Yeah, but so, okay, let me finish reading what I had about the maze. Because I think this was Teddy's words verbatim. The maze is the sum of a man's life. A legendary man in the center that has died multiple times.
Right. So it's not a physical maze. It's your understanding and rebirth over and over again.
Yeah, and this guy's died so many times. I've heard that somewhere before, that he is the one that actually creates the maze around him to either protect the world or something. They're borrowing from another story with that. I forget where I've heard that.
Well, it's all sorts of things are borrowed.
Trying to get philosophical now?
No. I'm too lazy for that. I really am, but it's the lazy guy in me that's like, I've heard that before, they're recycling it, can't remember where it's from. I'm not getting any deeper than that.
Somebody else figured it out.
I don't remember that.
No? I'd have to look. It's probably a cartoon I watched. Guaranteed.
I still enjoyed the lady with the snake tattoo. That reminded me of the Benjamin Franklin's Join or Die.
Armistice.
Political, yeah. And her name's Armistice.
Yeah, very...
Oh.
Interesting. Yeah. A little irony there, but...
Yeah.
Irony abounds. Let's see.
I also like that Ford, whenever Bernard finds the family in the forest, though, that Ford needles, basically, Bernard about his own... He's like, well, if you could see your own son one more time, wouldn't you want to? I'm like, he's pushing the right buttons on Bernard to get him to do what he wants him to do.
Right. Does anybody else find it interesting that he always leverages that over his head, too?
Yeah, he mentions Bernard's son.
Hey, man, your kid's dead. By the way, you want some coffee? What kind of coworker is he? Jeez, we get it.
Well, he's a boss with a god complex.
My gosh, though.
But wouldn't that be the perfect... that one of his workers, whatever comes to him to recreate the life for them, That he's now worshiping him to that point.
Oh my, yeah. I guess that would play
save, bring back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe that's what he just wants to rebuild that child for him.
Yeah, maybe
and have it accepted.
Holy cow. Yeah, that could be. Because he just seems to bring it up like every freaking episode, it seems like. It's, dude.
He's Inception.
Yeah.
He's planting this. If you'd want to see him, I mean, recreating bodies and reprogramming the personalities is what I do for a living, but wouldn't you really like to?
Do we ever see a spinning dreidel or top in this show?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, never mind.
Inception? Seen Inception?
I'm thinking about, I don't...
No, I don't think we ever saw it.
No, there's never.
I was trying to think that little girl had one, but she like shows up in weird times and says stuff and
has
true. Toys or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I don't have much left. Mesa bar access and a bigger room. So that's
Elsie's aspirations.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the people that work here.
Open bar.
Yeah,
that's the dream.
It's like, okay, so I don't know. Maybe that plays too. Okay, so the Mesa is high above. Now I'm getting a little philosophical because it's overlooking everything, and everything's taking place at a lower level. I don't know. That's as philosophical as I can get. I'm tired now.
Heaven? I don't know.
Yeah,
the Mesa's heaven is where the gods live.
Yes,
they hang out. They lay around the pool. They get.
It's Olympus.
Yeah, exactly. It's Olympus.
They get so blitzed that they pee on the giant map.
Yeah,
right
did
in
we
front of the
really
boss.
need Gizmore? What's that guy's name?
Gizmore.
Yeah,
Sizemore.
Yeah. Did we really need that guy to come back?
You know, I didn't miss him at all. And when he came back,
when he rolled back in, I was like, oh yeah.
It's like, oh, and now he's.
What was the World My Stage thing? Was that a Shakespearean thing too?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, okay, real self-absorbed.
I loved the message from the bartender via his boss.
Yeah.
Or it was the QA chick, right? It's like
Teresa.
Yeah, what was it? Starving artists or tortured artists have to be an artist in the first place to be tortured or something like that. I'm like,
tortured artists only
get back to work.
Tortured artists only work for artists.
Right. Yeah. I was like, oh man, dang. She's got some wit.
Yeah, well, Teresa and that guy you find out, are ready to usurp Ford anyway. He's like, well, Ford's on the way out, and you can't be destroying everything because we need somebody to take creative.
Right.
Which that's just manipulation of him.
Yeah, but Ford's not going to let that happen.
Yeah.
No,
How many times he said, whoever creates it, there's a piece of them in there, or a piece of the artist in there, something like that.
Well,
like Arnold?
Hinting at the whole Arnold piece.
The death threat, we talked about this an episode or two ago. He flat out gives a death threat to that chick when it's like, stay out of my way, Mm-hmm. Well, it was when they were in the vineyard or whatever at the restaurant. Yeah. She's like, this is the chair I was sitting in. I mean, he was very deadly in the delivery of that line. It's like, don't mess with my world.
Another time piece there. One of the first people in, suddenly we have someone that was a kid there, now bigger.
Right.
Well, but...
What are your time lapse?
Yeah, and...
True.
And to me, that still plays a little bit into the... Now that I've started the bull rolling, it's gone downhill for me now. But the fact that everyone there's a host, because Ford tells Teresa, well, we know everything about our employees, and we know everything about our guests.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's either the creepiest corporation in the world with eyes in bathrooms and stuff, or
collecting intel on everybody.
They would have to know what chair you went to as a child, as a guest, and to retain that information is super, super creepy.
He's a host. He's tied into the system.
Or the teraflops of data. The petabytes.
Everybody there's a host, and that's just why they know where they've all been.
Could be. So what else you got, Dave? Because I'm not keeping track of a clock.
No, I'm not either. I really liked where they had the one. They finally finished that one host's left leg. I appreciated that. The one host that had that skeletal left leg forever. I think they finally got around to finishing that guy. They wheeled him by.
Leg, yeah.
It was like, oh, thank God they finally got one done.
Oh, and he had a member too, didn't he?
Yeah. And then they went and they stuck the blood pump in his back like E85, like a thunk, and then started filling him up.
Where did that go?
It went in his back somewhere because looked like it was up between the shoulder blades.
They were like straight into his heart.
I thought
maybe straight into the heart?
Just from the back?
I don't know. It kind of creeped me out. I was like, dude, is that... Nah, that's not going up the anus. It's right above, though.
Yeah, that wouldn't make any sense.
Lower back.
How would you go right there?
Huh?
Yeah, why would you do
that? Seriously, look at it again, and it's
okay.
Well, no, I mean, come on.
What was that, the bringing to life, the creating of life? Life's blood?
I don't know.
Well, see, we used to hone in on the milk.
Yeah, because there's one host early on that breaks, that's part of Trevor Phillips's group, which is Urban or somebody like that. The early on posse of guys who are at Dolores' house, and the one guy who keeps constantly harassing Dolores, he winds up being the guy that drags her off into the barn. Mm-hmm. But his cohort, who talks to Arnold, is super fixated on milk all the time. Like he's there and he's like shooting people, but then that stuff they create him in is milk. You know what I mean? So I was kind of wondering if he subconsciously is fixated on that fluid they create them in.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because, man, he sure does have a milk fixation.
Yep. He likes drinking the fresh
milk. The fluid of life.
She's a little touched.
Yeah. Let's see. All right, so I have to ask. Is Arnold, to you, either Ghost in the Machine or Arnold still alive? Mm-hmm. I think he's dead. So who's posing as Arnold is my question, but I don't know. Thoughts? What's your take with Arnold there, Josh? Is he still kicking, or is it just his overall drive to free the robots as it's already been?
I mean, he seems to run a pirate radio station where he broadcasts weird commands to them.
Right.
But is it him, or is it somebody posing as him?
I think
that was a question I put down.
Recreated Arnold, and it went bad, and it went away. And
recreated how? What do you
like? Rebuilt another.
Oh, like he built
his best friend, his hope, and put all that into one. That's now in the system.
I mean, at this point, why not?
But it's still Arnold thinking like Arnold would think, who had all the issues at the beginning.
Whoa.
So now that's the host that thinks it's Arnold, doesn't know it's a host, but yet subconsciously interferes with the system.
Yeah. It's just like the Resident Evil, the best way
is
to get a clone or somebody else to think or to behave and do what you want them to do is to make them think they're the original, and then they will go in 100%.
Yikes.
He may,
But are they aware of it the whole time, though?
Yeah.
I don't think they're always aware of it.
No.
Maybe he's not hitting the same cycle as the rest. That'd be interesting.
He's got it's like repressed, but it's there in his actions.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, and my last thing was Arnold has been messing with Maeve, but that's referring to what we already discussed. Where, oh man, somebody with a bunch more.
But that could be Arnold.
It could be Ford. Yeah.
Bernard.
Yeah.
I don't know access Teresa has, but some of the higher, one of the CEO people.
Yeah. Well, Sylvester says, somebody's got a
crap ton more.
Yeah, a ton more access than we do.
Than I do, and you know.
Didn't he already establish that he was pretty low and?
Yeah, it's like
we're tier 2.
We're tier 2. And I loved how you pointed out the way that Maeve dealt with them. Like she would just backhand Sylvester and be like, "You're like talking to one of my whores." She literally says that.
I don't know if you noticed that
when she's talking to Felix.
Yeah,
she's sweet talking to Medusa. Yeah.
Yeah, she's very physically aggressive with Sylvester.
Yes.
And then it's like, everybody wants something, you shut up, and then immediately turns to Felix and is like, sweetheart,
just caressing the side
why
of
don't you
his
just bump me to
face.
20, please?
Right, but she knows how to deal with people.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah. So she could be the honeypot.
Yeah, but you get to see it.
You know, she can tell what each one wants.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah. I'd also note that Teresa breaks up with Bernard for professional reasons. It's pretty cold-blooded. But then, in Turnabout, Bernard finds out Teresa's the saboteur.
The mole.
Who's uploading the data.
Right. Yeah.
A lover scorned.
I was just thinking...
Right, but that would have happened long before they had to break up. So I don't know if that...
The saboteur?
Right, the saboteur part would have been... Before we know that Ford has cameras everywhere and knows everything about everybody, and now they're breaking up because of it. It's conflict. So whatever it was before that.
Yeah, and I mean, she broke up with him because she's like, Ford knows. And he's like, and? I did like the way he reacted to it, because clearly he didn't want to lose the relationship, but he's like, and?
Like, that's the one thing that's going to stop her hostile takeover?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they're uploading it to their Delios satellite or whatever, so it's, somebody on the inside is uploading to a company satellite.
Mm-hmm. Is somebody really doing that?
That's kind of what I was starting to wonder. I'm like, is this actually going on?
Or do you do something that causes an anomaly in a host, which they're immediately going to see when a host is out of the storyline and doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
We've already seen them pause the entire world once to pull somebody out that wasn't working right.
Yeah. Once they leave a loop.
Right. But this guy is going out of loop every iteration cycle, and they just noticed because he glitched this one time. Mm-hmm. Or did they want to put something out there that was kind of obvious to get them to chase down that rabbit hole?
Oh, yeah, it's just a distraction.
Right, and they're not sending anything with satellite laser responder, whatever they call that.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Laser aimed.
Yeah, they threw lasers in there to make it sound cool or something.
It's a red herring.
I thought it looked like.
No, I really think it is.
Yeah, I thought it looked like a vape box with a real long.
So did I. Yeah.
If you've seen those big vape boxes, they look like a cigar box with.
It did.
They do.
And they call it old technology. I'm like, dang, that's still up there.
Maybe they're not really sending anything out, and we're just going through another cycle, another reiteration, rebirth of.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Right. Which is why he's now digging up and reburying other areas.
Yeah. Well, what do you think that they were? The soldiers were trying to brand Teddy with the maze on the chest.
Yeah, that was funky.
Why were they doing that?
It's their cult.
The soldiers are called
soldiers cult.
You say because that's on my pad. That's immediately followed by Teddy murders everyone
with a Gatling
gun.
Right.
Just the whole camp.
And that was classic though. That was really good. Where
you shifted character hard.
Yeah, because the Man in Black is like, you think you know someone, and Teddy hops down out of the wagon and he's like, you don't know me at all. I was like, okay.
How's the Man in Black been there for so long and has no idea who Wyatt is or has ever seen him?
Well, he does. Yeah. He does make mention with the snake girl, Armistice. He does say, clearly this is my indiscretion, because how have I not met you before? So it's kind of like, I wonder, whoever's screwing with the park, maybe they brought some of the older hosts back online or out of cold storage or something. And they're just
plugging them in slowly. Why it's like a Gen 1 story that he just wasn't there for. He's been coming 34 years. Maybe the park's been open 36. And they, they just had some storylines.
Just missed it, dude.
Yep, sorry. That was
you missed the alpha.
Season
you
1.
only played the beta.
Yeah, it's too expensive to heal and fix that many people. So he kills an entire town.
Yeah, well, that's what they're mentioning. The fact that one of them's in the previous episode, somebody had said, "Well, oh no, it was the Man in Black." He was like, "You used to be beautiful. You were these really intricate robots, and you were super expensive to repair. So they basically made you these messy bags of meat because your humanity is cheaper."
Ford kind of hinted at something like that too. Mm-hmm. When he was showing when he made the kid's face open up, he had sort of mentioned and went to that.
Yeah, we were kind of bummed that the kid wasn't like screaming the entire time. It was
I wish.
It was like still blinking. It was weird, but he's.
Yeah, I was like,
his blinks were off or something too.
You get it. He's not human. Okay. But yeah. Well, what else you got, Dave?
I don't know. I've done a whole lot of scribbling, so.
Okay.
I don't know. I think I'm probably.
Because we're talking about cycles and stuff, and I'm kind of thinking we've reached the end of this discussion cycle.
No, have you?
I don't know. I'm pretty tapped out on it. How about you, Josh? What do you got? Closing comments, I suppose.
Yeah. What else you got? You got anything we forgot?
No, I have no additional. I pretty much covered it.
Yeah. But no, yeah, and I mean, thanks for joining us, because you definitely added to the discussion.
Thanks for having me.
Enriching us. So if you're going to be back for the next one, we'd greatly appreciate it. But yeah, Dave, what have we decided, since I'm tired talking? How do we do the send off here?
I don't know. You just stop the
show's over.
I'll just stop it.
Show's over. Good night.
Control C.
Yeah, just go ahead and stop it. Until next time, we'll hit you up with episode 7 of Westworld next time. And looking forward to 8, 9, however many they got. I don't even know how long this runs. I haven't looked.
10? Is it 10?
It's 10.
There's 10?
10 seasons. 10
cool.
episodes a season.
So we're almost there, everybody.
The end is nigh.
Hang in there for the end of the ride, because it's going to be a doozy. The slow burn is continuing, but we'll get there.
Mm-hmm. It's like one of those snakes that fire on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
It's like the worst kid firecracker ever.
Uh-huh.
My kid, it's like just slowly grows out, like, ooh.
It's like you're waiting for the bang or the pop, and you're just like...
This?
No, this last year, we went over to Missouri and found one, and I realized I grabbed a couple and threw them in the bag to buy, but they were the snakes, and they put them on an elephant, and it's called Poopin' Elephant, and it just comes out the back of the elephant.
Okay, that made it worthwhile. That was an improvement.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It says Poopin' Elephant.
Did it at least
kind of
move?
used for the snakes.
Yeah.
Was the elephant on wheels or something?
No, it wasn't on wheels. Although I was clearly after you light it, I was immediately like somebody fed this poor elephant Taco Bell, I guess. Just hold.
Guarantee that's where they came up with the idea at 3 a.m. Taco Bell run. Hey, let's make an elephant and have it poop these things out.
Yeah, that's a drunk guy firework.
That's too good. That's great. Are you still going?
Yeah, I'd left. I mean, we can edit it, crop out.
Yeah,
whatever.
no, I know. I'm just saying.